Hello guys and welcome to a new WetalkUAV video. Are you planning on buying a new gimbal in 2019 and you're doubting among the Ronin S, the Moza Air 2 and the Zhiyun Crane 2? Well, this is your video because in this video we're doing a detailed and in-depth comparison video among these three devices. We're gonna go outdoors, do some shooting, some speed tests, also some tracking performance and also show you some cinematic shots. Just kidding, we won't do cinematic because we're tired of seeing the same videos all around the net. This video is gonna be about 10 categories, we're gonna give points and in the end you'll see which one wins. No more talking, let's go inside. Hello guys and welcome again, this is Alex with Chivo on the camera and we're gonna start right away with the price. The Ronin S costs right now officially $749 US, the Moza Air 2 $599 US, and finally the Crane 2 $649. But the difference is that this one right now comes with a photo focus. You can't really buy it officially without the photo focus. We're gonna do two tests here. The first one with this motorbike, high-speed test to see if the axis of the gimbals skews a little bit, tilts a little bit. And the second one, we're gonna use my hand. I'm gonna do the tracking performance and sport mode also to see how good they are. Let's go. After taking a look at the footage back in the studio, we can clearly see that the Ronin S handles better the speed situations. That was pretty obvious at the motorbike test and that's why we're giving it 2 points. 1 point however to the Moza Air 2 as it surprised us in a positive way and also works pretty good. In this case again, the Crane gets 0 points because it's clearly the least good of all. The tracking performance test, I'm not sure if it went pretty good or pretty bad overall. I have to say that all three are very close, but again, the feeling and the ease when using the Ronin won our test in our personal opinion. Both the Moza Air 2 and the Crane 2 are a little less good in this case, even though everything, as I'm saying, is pretty similar. We thought how to be fair with the points when there is a tie? Well, give the winner 1 point and the losers 0. Summing up, the motorbike test will give the Ronin S 2 points, the Moza Air 2 1 point and the Crane 0 points. And at the tracking performance test, we're gonna give 1 point to the Ronin S and 0 point to the Moza Air 2 and the Crane 2. Now let's talk about the weight, the design and the ergonomics. Let's start with the Moza Air 2 with its rubber part here, which makes your life easier and it really lies good in your hand. And of course, the most beautiful thing about this gimbal that we like the most is this double plate here that when taking it off or exchanging, for example, the battery of your camera, you can put it back in and you do not have to recalibrate because it remembers the position. On the other hand, we have the Ronin 2, which the most impressive thing and the most important is this. You can actually do this and it will take a lot less space in your bag. Apart from that, ergonomically, it is also quite, I'm sure, the best with its rubber parts. It's the most comfortable and designed for your hand. And not to forget that you can also move the plate this way and these two other gimbals do not allow you doing that. Finally, we have the Crane 2, which is probably, when talking about ergonomics, the worst of all three. It is a big black plastic thing in your hand. It doesn't even feel comfortable. Even though there's a strap to put it around to make it a little bit more like rubber style, it is not the best designed for your hand. And not to forget, look at this, you put your camera in here and it will be blocking your side onto your screen and you won't be able to know what you're filming, which is kind of the past century. 1 point for this one. 2 points, and winner of the category for the Moza Air 2, and 0 points in this case for the Crane 2. LED display and all its functionalities and allowing you to change, settings and everything. The Ronin S does not have one. The Moza Air 2 has a really nice one, and the Crane 2 has also a really nice one. This means 0 points for the Ronin S, 1 point and 1 point. Talking about the ease of use and kind of if you have no idea about gimbals and just buy it or get it and you want to use it out of the box, then the problem about the LED that we talked that were good before are that you lose yourself a lot of time in all those settings, and you have different parameters, and you can set up percentages, and you can set up the Q, the L, the P, the follow, everything. There are tons of buttons, you have a dial, and you may lose your patience there. On the other hand, the Ronin S, the good thing is that it is ready to use out of the box. There are 3 simple modes that you afterwards may change. It has a trigger, and they do not have those many settings out of the box as this one. This means that when you buy it, you purchase it, you put your camera, you calibrate it, and you're ready to go. So in the end, if you really have no idea, the best way and the best, easiest way to go is with the Ronin. In this case, we're gonna give it 1 point, and we're gonna tie this to 0 points. Let's talk about batteries. The Crane 2 and the Moza Air 2 use this kind of batteries, removable batteries that you can charge externally. And the good thing, of course, is that when you run out of battery, you just change them and you keep working. This means that after quite some time using them, and when the capacity goes down, you just can buy a new set and, use them as if they were new. On the other hand, the Ronin S, of course, the good thing of having the internal battery is that you don't have to carry it around, but of course after some time, and when the capacity goes down here, you won't be able to change it. So maybe in a year or 2. So what we would have liked really a lot here, even though being internal, would be the ability to change it, and even costing 100 or 200 bucks, we would buy a new battery and just put it inside. But this gives the Ronin S, of course, a 0 in this case, and we're tying this 2 with 1 point each. Customize functions. What we like the most about the Ronin S is this M button and having 3 modes that you can preset with your phone, and once you are filming, just by hitting and pushing the button once, you can jump from one mode to another, and those functions are really important. On the Moza Air 2, it is true there are configs that you can set up, but you'll have to go into the menu, lose some time, use the dial, use the buttons, and then you will be able to change it. But it's also good. On the other hand, and finally, the Crane 2 does not have any of those possibilities. Summing up, 1 point for the Ronin S, 1 point for the Moza Air 2, a nice tie here, and 0 points for the Crane 2. Control buttons, triggers, and everything. For this category, of course, the Ronin S has for us the best joystick of all 3, and it also does have a trigger, which will make your life way easier. Same happens on the Moza Air 2, a nice joystick, even though it looks a little bit sloppier, but it does also have a trigger, which will make your life much easier. And finally, the Crane 2 first does not have any kind of trigger, which makes your life much more difficult. And second, the joystick is kind of a button that, if it's slippery or you're sweating or something, you may have some problems with this joystick. So in this case, we are tying again the Ronin S and the Moza Air 2, giving 1 point and 1 point, and finally another 0 for the Crane 2. For finishing this comparison, we want to talk about the creative figures that the 3 gimbals allow you doing, and pretty much we have to say that they'll do basically the same. This means with Ronin, the Moza and the Crane, you'll be able to do motion lapses, time lapses, and they will be, in general terms, exactly the same. The only thing that is different and that makes us give a point to the Crane 2 is the ability of this one to do object tracking with your phone. You can put your phone on top of the camera, go into the app, track something, an object, a person, a building, or whatever, and then you'll be able to walk freely while this is tracked. It is pretty cool, and we do not have seen this capability on this other 2. This means that in this case we're giving 0 points, 0 points, and 1 point to the Crane 2. You know by now the final points that each one got, and 7 points for the Ronin S, 7 points for the Moza Air 2. We have a brilliant tie here, and finally 3 points for the Crane 2. Summing up, the Crane 2 is the big loser of this challenge, but we have to say for its defense that it is the oldest one. Ergonomically, it's also the worst of all 3, but of course it does the job. I mean, if you just want a gimbal for your camera, it works. It is also the lightest of all three, and we have to say that the Crane 3 Lab is coming in a month or two. However, the price will be at $900 US, which will, you know, make it maybe be in a superior league than this too. And of course, the grip and everything will be different, so we don't really know how this will fit in this $600, $700 barrier. About the Moza Air 2, one of the two winners here, we love this double plate. It just is awesome. It is a little bit lighter than the Ronin, and of course we also loved the removable batteries. And not to forget that it's also the cheapest one of all three. Finally, the Ronin S, another tied winner here. What we loved the most, of course, was the capability of dismounting it and taking less space in your bag. Also, as you could see in the high-speed tests outdoors, it was the best one, and ergonomically probably also the best one. And finally, the easy settings that you can set up here, you know, with this easy system with buttons and everything, makes it also a nice tied winner together with the Air 2. Choosing one or another gimbal will entirely be up to you, and if you're just looking for a gimbal that holds your camera, all these three work perfectly. However, if you just want to, you know, save some space in your bag, you may want to take the Ronin S because it dismounts itself, or you, for example, want something a bit lighter than the Ronin, then you go for the Air 2, or you just want to be faster when exchanging batteries because you do more events, you'll go, because of its nice second plate, over the Air 2. It will depend entirely up to you where you emphasize, which category you emphasize more, so make sure to check them all. Nothing really else to say, guys. I really hope that you liked this video. We put a lot of time and effort into it. If you have any doubts or just want to say anything, leave it in the comments. We really hope that it helped you, your choice, and nothing really else to say. Always remember to keep calm and talk UAV. Jesus!